Remember, I said, Markus, I think they will offer Tuchel a job. I said that some episodes ago. But I think there is one man in the world who can reject him. That is Thomas Tuchel. That will make this into a Greek tragedy, by the way.
Hi and welcome to the German Fussball Podcast. I'm your host, Markus Fjørtoft, and as always, joined by co-host Jan Fjørtoft. A pleasure to be back with you, Dad. I had to get a little slight recovery with my wisdom tooth, but no one cares about that. We're back. It's good to be together again. We're getting towards the tail end of the season. Before we go into that, obviously, we would like to remind all listeners, we are available on all audio platforms, all video platforms. If you see us here, freshly showered, fresh to start the day. But Dad, let's start off with your past days. You've been in England, and yesterday, I say monumental kind of a day for you, because that was your last game with the legend that is Jurgen Klopp.
Yes, I've known, of course, Jurgen Klopp more or less all my football career. We are the same age. I must say, and it's no disrespect to Jurgen Klopp, but I would say that I had a better football career than him. But wow, or football career as a player career, because the football career, he's one of the greatest. And yes, we could say he should have taken more trophies, maybe more than the Premier League and the Champions League as the big ones for Liverpool, but one of the greatest personalities of his generation. And I was yesterday very fortunate because I was at Villa against Liverpool. A great game, by the way, for all neutrals. It was every attack was a goal chance, so to say. Before the game, I had Martin Tyler there, the legendary TV commentator. A legend, and he was talking about him starting in 1974, working with Bill Shankly, then over Bob Paisley, and we talked about Jurgen Klopp, his position ranked as a Liverpool manager. But yes, Markus, I've been the last 13, 14 years since he was at Dortmund. I followed them in the Champions League. I followed their rise of Dortmund at that time to Wembley. This was also the time when Dortmund were winning the trophies in German football. So yes, it was a bit sad yesterday, Markus, because I knew that was the last time that I will interview him as a Liverpool manager. I'm sure that I will meet him again, and it was. I think it was funny. I was planned, of course, because I quoted Vera Lynn, who had the song "We'll Meet Again, Don't Know Where, Don't Know When," and he said yes, I'll be around. Of course, talked about his foundation, Liverpool Foundation, that he will be a part of. But I think that Jurgen Klopp now look forward to this year big time, because it's to be a Liverpool manager, to be a manager in the Premier League, and to be a Liverpool manager, being the ambassador and in practically mayor of Liverpool is tough. And as we are doing, we're seeing what's happening at Bayern now, Markus. I think that would have been their.
Oh, how are they gonna love that?
Klopp to Bayern, but we can't see that happening. But
no.
It looks like every other coach in the world will be a candidate there.
Yeah, and let's talk through that, because the nature of Bayern, we've highlighted this time and time again, the good old adage, the FC Hollywood, whatnot. Obviously, there are pros and cons of being such a high-profile club. Bayern in of itself, what it represents as an institution, a club, a brand itself, the consequence of that is a lot of it will be made public. And Max Eberl came out yesterday, and he criticized a bit even the ones involved, the protagonists, as to being too public about these conversations. But we must say that it's becoming a bit farcical, the whole lot now. A club like Bayern Munich now, and just to run through before you go in detail, they tried with Xabi Alonso, they tried with Julian Nagelsmann, they tried with Ralf Rangnick. Then suddenly Oliver Glasner, who they had the chance, you could say, but the timeline synchronized, I think 2 days after Tuchel left, Glasner left, or vice versa. And then Hansi Flick, and so the story goes. To what degree do we attribute these as just rumors? And to what degree do we attribute this as a rather ad hoc, sort of chaotic plan from Bayern's point of view?
And I think that is a very basic truth here, because we can't disrespect the job some journalists in Germany are doing. There are some very good around. We can see that. That's why we can follow them all so closely. I mean, I'm only a bystander compared with these people, that they know more or less everything that happened at Bayern. And I don't think that Max Eberl, I rate him, but I don't think he should start with the media, because there's so much leaks. There are more leaks in Bayern looking for the coach than the roof at Old Trafford, it seems. And we know, yes, Ralf Rangnick went out and more or less said what happened, talking about that. But is that the fault of Ralf Rangnick? Ralf Rangnick is an Austrian national coach. He got to state his opinion. That is his right too. Xabi Alonso, to be fair, and Max Eberl said that, or that was the comment. He has never commented on that. I just show the class of Xabi Alonso, because he's a Leverkusen manager, so you got to stay there. So I don't think we should criticize the coaches or criticize the good work for some of our colleagues in Germany. But I will give you a quick update in detail. You said it, Markus. Xabi Alonso being the candidate number one. Knowing Xabi Alonso as we have got to know him now, over doing interviews with him, seen him from outside, that was a non-starter. Just showed the respect, and it showed the dignity of the man that he wants to keep on building Leverkusen. Then Julian Nagelsmann, being the national coach of Germany, coming into a tournament in Germany, as they are. Well, I guess, Markus, on Thursday, he will nominate the whole squad. Maybe that will be a special. I'm not saying that we are doing that. I'm just saying that could be a special, because the national team is doing it in a brilliant way now, because they take one and one name. As we know, Schlotterbeck will be in there. We know that Pavlovic is in there, done through influencer, done through a over 90-year-old grandmother. I think the Germans have doing that brilliantly. But Thursday will be the official list.
And then the players are being told today. So maybe we'll do a special on Thursday, but they're drip feeding it. But today the players will be told, which adds to the I guess the intensity of it all.
Yeah, and as they are told today, then we probably know today. So we'll probably have the whole squad more during the day or tomorrow at latest. But yes, then Ralf Rangnick and Nagelsmann, both national coaches, I guess they felt also that because it's so an important tournament for both of them, that there will be that double kind of job. So fair enough. Then we have three candidates that were likely in there. Then this Glasner thing, I know Oliver Glasner since he was at Eintracht Frankfurt. He won the Europa League with them. Great night against Rangers, and now he's done fantastically with Crystal Palace. By the way, I know you're going to Crystal Palace straight after today, doing your job for PFA, Markus. So that's we have to hurry up, I guess, for that. But I have to go in detail with this, because then suddenly, and I think this is the moment when it starts. I have a bit problem with it, because it's nothing to do with Oliver Glasner. Glasner would have been a great manager for Bayern, but then suddenly, out of nowhere, so to say, quote, out of nowhere, he is the man. And Steve Parris, the chairman of Crystal Palace, great chairman, a good man. He has done a fantastic job too at Crystal Palace. He says, no, you can't have him. Yeah, but we'll offer you 18 million euro, Bayern says, apparently. And then Steve Parris says, yeah, but I need 100. So he's out. Oliver Glasner is out. And then there is Monday night. That's yesterday, Markus. There is a board meeting, Aufsichtsrat. Board meeting. And again, Christian Falk, our Bayern insider, a friend of ours, he's reporting that Max Eberl still wants De Zerbi, but De Zerbi has said he wants to stay in Brighton. I mean, should Bayern be on their knees to get De Zerbi, in all due respect? I mean, please, can you come here? Please don't take Brighton, will you? Please, can you go to our place? And that's what's to say. And I'm not saying that it's everything is right that is reported, but to be fair to the Bayern insiders, they have been very right. They had Lopetegui apparently saying, listen, I want to take West Ham instead of Bayern. Again, no disrespect to West Ham, no disrespect to the Premier League, but this is Bayern, for fuck's sake. This is Bayern, one of the greatest addresses in the whole world. People should be queuing up to be a manager of Bayern. And I'm not saying that this can happen in any club. This could be a thing that Liverpool as well have had rejections, but we don't know about that. So that the brand of Bayern has been hurt. The brand of Bayern has been kind of laughed to in international football now. They wanted to sort this out in April. They wanted to sort it out in May. It's getting later and later. They can still do May, but now it's turning into a joke, Markus. And I feel for them because Max Eberl, Christoph Freund, Bayern Munich, this is great people at a great club. And this need to be sorted sooner rather than later.
It's complex, a lot of variables. We can't have one man to blame. Max Eberl will come in. He will set a narrative as such that he said, listen, I did not have too much to say about Tuchel's dismissal. A matter of fact, now the narrative's changing with Florian Plettenberg, Christoph. Actually, we've always been open to Tuchel. How do you analyze the situation seen from a Freund and Eberl? You mentioned it briefly there, because this is, we could go way back. We could go back to Hassan Salihamidzic. We can go to Khan when they fire Nagelsmann, etc., and accumulate. How do you see it from their perspective? And what do you think is the most realistic option for Bayern right now?
It's like every episode, if you follow a series, at the beginning of every series, there will be a jump over the intro or jump over the summary. But we have to do that with Bayern because, yes, Tuchel came to kind of get the trouble because Nagelsmann wasn't good enough, apparently, for Salihamidzic and Khan. So they fired him. They had a young coach who could make that transformation and transition that this club needed, get new players in. So Tuchel comes in. The thing is that Tuchel was available, so Tuchel could be there at the end of the season. So they're winning the league. If you see the points numbers that they had when they're winning that and a goal difference with Dortmund in the last game of the season, where Dortmund couldn't win the Mainz games. They won the Bundesliga. They were out of the cup. They were out of the Champions League. So Tuchel goes into the new season, more points than they had last season, but still they're struggling to be second. That is not decided yet. Okay, they're winning against Wolfsburg this weekend, but Stuttgart keep on winning, getting more wins than they've ever done in the Bundesliga.
And more points. Yeah, more points than the Champions last season. If you told us that,
exactly,
would be pretty remarkable.
Yeah, so we knew that if Bayern going to be knocked out of the trophy, you need a team that is fantastic. And this, you can't use another word than fantastic on Leverkusen this season. But okay, so you feel that it's a great compromise. We were talking about it at the time. Tuchel would stay till the end of the season. He took them to the semi-final of the Champions League. They were nearly, and I say nearly, in the Champions League final. I mean, we know the story there. 87th minute, they're 1-0 up. Yes, it's Real Madrid. They will always find a way to get to a final. They will always find a way to win the Champions League trophy. So apparently now, and yes, you were saying that, it's funny how things change around when you follow the analysis of the Bayern coach. Then they were all down to Flick coming back because that was Bayern do. I think Jupp Heynckes has been there 4 times. Hitzfeld has been there. This is a place that managers go back. This is La Famiglia in a way that you want your people to run our club. Mm-hmm. You're in or you're out. And so Flick sounded like the safe bet on that. But now things is changing around because now apparently again, but we have no reason to doubt it. A Thomas Müller, a Manuel Neuer, bright young old lads. They've apparently gone to the Bayern management and say, listen, we know we're struggling to get a manager, as funny and strange as it seems. But you know, this guy, Thomas Tuchel, he's not bad. Thomas Tuchel is doing well. We know what he's doing. He's quite cynical to get results. He still can develop players. And also, I think it's also a reaction to what Uli Hoeneß said, because he said he's not a developer. But wow, Pavlovic was just nominated now for the Euro squad. I mean, there are examples of that as well in that thing. And then we saw on Sunday a small details, and that's what made me over the line that they are talking. Remember, I said, Markus, I think they will offer Tuchel a job. I said that some episodes ago. But I think there is one man in the world who can reject him. That is Thomas Tuchel. That will make this into a Greek tragedy, by the way, and not a farce. It's a Greek tragedy. But Sar, Choupo-Moting, some people, they got their flowers at Allianz Arena at the Wolfsburg game this weekend. Tuchel wasn't even getting anything. And then I saw the explanations of Max Eberl, who said, yeah, but we want to get into the Super Cup because if we're in the second, we can play with Leverkusen, and we're not sure about the second. Blah, 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 blah. There were so many ifs and that. So I think that put me, and that's what I put my head on the line. And I said, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I said, okay, I know you will have a go at me, but Thomas Tuchel will be the new coach of Bayern, or the new old coach for next season. You never know, and that is on a feeling now. But I think that, Markus, and if I may end a long sentence by saying, the key is here, what's the alternative also for Bayern? What's the alternative B for Thomas Tuchel? Thomas Tuchel, it would be a dream for him doing Manchester United, because every coach like managing Bayern to take Manchester United. But there are two things. I was at Manchester United. The roof was leaking. There wasn't the Niagara Falls. No,
Niagara Falls.
I couldn't do it on these. Niagara Falls. I did the same mistake at ESPN, but Craig Burley did it. He wanted to say leaky roof, and he said Ricky Roof. So that was quite funny at the ESPN show. But I think that Thomas Tuchel, looking at Manchester United, thinking this is a 5-year project, and I think that Ineos, who are the owners of Manchester United, also see that a type of Gareth Southgate that will fancy that kind of project. He's that kind of personality. He's that kind of leader to do Manchester United in all details, as Sir Brailsford saying, 1% everywhere. So I think that Thomas Tuchel will look around in the spaces available in international football at the moment. Pochettino is doing well for Chelsea now, can get into Europa League. Manchester United not available. Arne Slot is going to Liverpool. There's not many great spaces available for him. So as it seems now, Markus, but we'll get it out. Things changing all the time. It seems that maybe Thomas Tuchel will be the new coach, new old coach. But I don't think you should put it in the headline. but we'll say that at this moment, Tuesday morning, very early, this is the place. This is the way that it will go.
And one thing we can
it will go. Markus,
it will go.
You have to correct my English.
Now, but one thing we can guarantee is it is credit to the insiders. I mean, we've discussed this before about German media and leaks and what have you. There's a reason why we can follow this pretty closely. It's what makes it so exciting, to the big frustration, of course, of those internally at Bayern. Plenty to discuss. We will have plenty to discuss. This won't be the last thing that we will talk about this. We have to, however, look at the rest of German football, Dad. We want to welcome 2 new members, I guess, as regular features of the German Fussball Podcast, because we've got Holstein Kiel and St. Pauli, who have been promoted to the Bundesliga. First time in Holstein Kiel's history that they are in the Bundesliga. St. Pauli make a return after 13 years. The co-club very much started from the 80s, and then it's Kiel that can go on to win the title if they win against Hanover on the final day of the season. St. Pauli started the season unbeaten up until the 25th match day, I believe, and then went on a few losses and what have you. But huge credit to 2 clubs, huge credit to one Hamburg club, as it's sealed that Fortuna Düsseldorf secures the playoff promotion spot against either Union or Cologne, or Bochum, it could be. We can discuss that. But yeah, any thoughts on getting these 2 clubs up to the Bundesliga, Dad?
And it's always good to say your former club, Markus, Holstein Kiel, as you were having a trial there.
We are nurturing that for all it's worth.
Exactly. When they looked for a quick defender and they got a 195 guy in. Yeah. The thing is, I think I need a quick explainer on this one as well. What is this region of? There are 3 football teams. I think for our English listeners, viewers, we have to say that if you think of London, that London got a club like Tottenham, and Tottenham being on level 2, and around you have Fulham and Leyton Orient. So Fulham being St. Pauli, being out, can't compare them because it's a hipster club, St. Pauli, cult club in Germany. Fulham is a lot of things, but not a hipster club, so to say. But but still you can compare it. So Tottenham, Fulham, and Leyton Orient are in the second league, and Tottenham are struggling, and their Fulham is doing fantastically. Been there for 13 years, but they secure their place. As you were saying, they've had a good season, St. Pauli. And then you got Leyton Orient, who is from nowhere started winning, and they've been close many years, Holstein Kiel, being Leyton Orient here. So it's not unfair. It's not even a surprise that they go up. Done a fantastic job there. So Tottenham stay down, Fulham go up, that's okay. But then Leyton Orient and Holstein Kiel, for us Norwegians, Kiel is the place where when we go to Germany, we put ourselves in a boat, Oslo, Kiel, Oslo. It's a very popular boat trip. I guess most Norwegians, well, first of all, I guess they're too drunk when they come to Kiel. If you do a general viewing of some people who go to Kiel, but still, I don't think people knew that it was a city. Not even know there were a football team there. So fantastic, Markus, to get them up. And I think we get Darmstadt down now, and we can say a lot about Darmstadt after they lost 6-0 to Hoffenheim, and maybe danger of taking Eintracht Frankfurt's sixth place away, which can give us Champions League next season. If Dortmund win the league, that is complicated. We do that after the last round. Darmstadt is not good in my book at the moment. But I think that there should always be a place for small teams. Well, they've deserved it. And this outsider coming up, yes, we see it in Premier League that the newly promoted gets relegated the year after. But we've had a story in German football that they kind of stick up there. Yeah, I mean, Augsburg now, that was a very small club when they came up, and now there's a regular. They're always around in the middle, doing a great job there. And now it seems that Cologne could go down, but Darmstadt down. So I think it's brilliant to have Holstein Kiel up. And St. Pauli is a cult club. It's of all you've seen, the emblem is a what is a skeleton, a head of a skeleton, a scalp, yeah, exactly. Great club. So congratulations to them. They deservedly got their promotion. Hamburger Sportsverein didn't even get into the playoff.
And we might have a local derby in the relegation playoffs because Köln live to fight another day, Dad. Damien Downs scores in the 90th plus minute, 3-2. They turn around against Union Berlin. And while we need to see a win away at Heidenheim for Köln, and we need to see then Union, they must lose at home to Freiburg, and the margin must be 2 or plus more on either side. They still have a chance. The one game they should have won, they lost at home to Darmstadt Köln, and that might come back to bite them. But they live to see another day. And then we got Heidenheim fighting for Europe still. Freiburg are fighting for Europe. So there's still very much things on the line for all teams involved. But huge drama. I always was worried about Union Berlin if they get into the relegation playoff. Momentum has a lot to say as well. I think Mainz will be fine. Bochum still has a chance if they lose and come. There's the goal difference is rather similar. It's huge drama. It's what we have left. Leverkusen marked their 50th game unbeaten as well. They got 2 cup finals coming up. They got the final game against Augsburg to become potentially the first unbeaten team in an entire Bundesliga season. There is a lot to go through, and we will review this, and we'll do a proper review after the season as well. And then we have Dortmund marking their lowest Bundesliga standing finish since the 2014-15 season. But Tesh will be fine because they made it to a Champions League final. But a bit, as we discussed, the consistency by which Dortmund perform at, even though it was a second-string team, it was still some of the same players that beat Augsburg 5-1. So there's that to say. We get to the end here, that we also have the Germany announcements as well, and Christian Streich marking his goodbye at home to the fans, all for us to review. Any thoughts on the weekends happening in general beyond what has been discussed then?
Tuesday mornings, I'm doing Spurs against City here in the Premier League tonight, and we know that we always say that something will happen. We could happen in the top of the Premier League, but it always will going to happen in the German Bundesliga. That's what we know. That Köln live and let die thing that they had at the end there, that was amazing. That just shows you always have to go for it. You always know that something can happen, and we will know that also in the last round. Something strange will happen, and I agree with your analysis. That is most likely that Köln will go down, but now at least they have a chance, and we'll see in the last round what will happen. Leverkusen, it's just people just shaking their heads now. They go to Bochum. That was last time they lost. Passed like a red card, and they're winning with 5. Was it 5-1? Was it
5-0?
There was 5-0, yeah. And there are 5 different goal scorers, and they're just amazing. 50 win. Not 50 games without a loss. They're breaking all kind of records. Let's see now if they lose at home in the last game of the season. That is very Spursy. Because things are happening, and my mind is now into the end of the season, and we'll see what will happen on the last round. But Leverkusen up there with the team of the season. 1 game to go in the Bundesliga. Then they got Europa League final against Atalanta, and then Kaiserslautern, the last the cup final in Germany. And I must say, Markus, as you were running to Crystal Palace, I'm running today in the streets of London. As you know, I'm on a diet, and I'm going to run the marathon in 1 year.
That is a big declaration. You've got this on record on YouTube.
That's what I did it now, and I would like to say that to all those subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing. And please do it again for those who have not subscribed. Be a part of our community. It's very inspiring for Markus and myself. All your questions in. We try to answer anyone. So let's go, Markus. Let's have a day and get this out in the episode. There's so many things happening now going forward in football.
Yes, there certainly won't be the last of big happenings to discuss. We have the Euro selection for Germany. We have cup finals. We have the season running. A lot to discuss that. As always, a pleasure. And then we will see each other very, very soon.